Well, welcome back to Alaska
Hi.
Woodyard, everyone. So today's Jill's last day before she gets to go on her cruise.
Yes, it is. And you will have to let me know in the comments if you see him goofing off.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, a little update on our house. Looks like they're gaining on the roof. If you're looking for a place in Alaska, okay, we're back in our subdivision to pick up some firewood. That's pile number 4. Another new lot going in here. And this is the house where we picked up our first pile 2 weeks ago. And we'll drive down and take a look and see what we got here. Here's pile number 2. We're going to clean up today. And we cleaned up most of pile number 3 yesterday. And this is pile number 1. As you can see, they have the foundation in for that house. This is where the well diggers were, as Joe would say, last week when they're putting in the septic. "37 degrees today. What a beautiful day for the middle of February. Returning, picking up a load of logs, and Jill come down with the 550. She's ahead of me, and we'll see you at the woodyard. Well, welcome back to Alaska Woodyard, everyone. Today I went and got a load of logs, and when you see this video, Jill will be on her cruise, so I better get something done while she's gone. So today I picked up a load of firewood logs over at our subdivision. We're slowly getting that cleaned up. I'll give you a quick shot here. Pretty nice birch. So this load here, they actually give to us. But I've got a load of cottonwood to pick up also. I have to clean that up. So as you've known before, this is Chris's cottonwood pile. And I'm actually going to try to get some of that worked up while Jill's gone for next year. We're going to try to sell some in our bundlewood. It actually burns good when it's dry. And my understanding is that Tony from Tony's Cool Tools, he wants to come up to Alaska, so him and Chris can come up and cut that beautiful cottonwood for us. And if you can see my shirt, Maine is getting some colder weather. So Russ from Willie's Firewood and Phil and Karen from Allen Family Firewood, they're getting some cold weather. And when they come to Alaska, it's warmer up here, 38 degrees. There's King Mountain off in the distance. And Pinnacle, if you can see in the sun here, beautiful sunny day, 38 degrees. The middle of February. Give you a quick shot in the yard here. Got more wood coming in all the time. And I'm gonna have to get on that processor and get something done so when Jill gets back, I won't be in the doghouse. So stay with me. Well, good evening, everyone. This is the week that Jill's gone on her cruise, so I'll be doing a lone video. You see a few clips, if you've been following our videos, of the house over where we picked up our firewood. In that subdivision, there's about 40 new homes going up. They've cleared about 15 lots and building right now. And so we get a lot of wood from there. Normally this time of year, we have no snow, as you can see in Wasilla, absolutely none. And in the 30s every day, just beautiful weather. So as this video comes out, I'm sure the East Coast has had some very cold sub-zero temperatures. Wisconsin, all over Maine, cold, snow, even down in Houston where my son is, it was 36 degrees today. So it was 38 here. So behind me here is Jill's moose rack. So this is from the outside tip to the outside tip here is 59 inches. So just a whisker shy of 5 feet. To give a reference, these whitetail antlers are 15 inches and 14 inches. So that gives you an idea how big the moose are up here. And so I just wanted to give you a quick little story about Alaska and about what we do. Jill and I have been happily married for 5 years. Known each other for a while before that, and we're both retired. I'm a retired equipment operator, heavy equipment operator, and Jill, in her early years, was a flight attendant for Eastern Airlines for 10 years. She had some successful businesses. She started a trucking company, had quite a few trucks, over 70 trucks contracted to her. She had an office in Pendleton, Oregon, and one small one in Chicago, and one here in Anchorage, Alaska. And sold that, and she bought the RV park and cafe with her former husband around 2000. And she run that right up until 2022. And her husband passed 10 years ago, and she operated that by herself, cooked, dishes, waited tables, filled propane tanks. As you can see in the videos, very hard-working woman, and I'm very fortunate to have her. So in Alaska, there was a lot of myths about the weather, what goes on. So like where we are here in the Mat-Su Valley, even though we're about 40 miles from Wasilla, the weather changes 3 times from our place to into town. It could be 35 and sunshine here, and get into town, be 15 degrees colder and snow. So everybody asks about the weather. Well, it's like driving from Maine to Florida. It changes that much. The state is that big. So the weather changes all the time, and this is not a normal winter for us. Last year we had a little bit more than average snow, and quite honestly, I was born and brought up in northern New York, and the winters here are much more mild, believe it or not. And so with that being said, getting our firewood is a little tougher. We don't have the hardwoods they have on the East Coast, and even over in Michigan and Wisconsin, where we have birch is basically the only hardwood other than cottonwood and aspen, which is a hardwood but kind of junk wood. And then we have spruce in this area. Now when you go south, we have yellow cedar and hemlock, and those Sitka spruce, and those trees are big. I worked in Southeast and putting in some roads for the gold mine, and those trees were 9 and 10 foot through. 19 million acres in the Tungus Forest. You can't even imagine the timber. The United States would never, ever cut that off if they wanted to. Some of those trees will easily build a house and a garage, one tree. Amazing, really, when you start to go around the state and see the differences in the state. It's nearly a rainforest down there. And up north on the North Slope, of course, it's 40, 50 below in the winter. High winds. You get over in the Delta, Northway, it's not uncommon to see 50 below, 60 below in the wintertime. And then just a few hours south here in Seward, it's in the 30s and 20s most of the winter on the ocean. So quite a difference in the weather. The moose are much bigger here too. The Yukon moose are huge. Jill shot this. Our season is August 25th till September 25th right here. We have 1 month, and you're allowed 1 moose per person. antlered bull has to be a spike fork or 50 inches wide minimum, or 3 brow tines. So these are the brow tines here, 1, 2, 3, and then these 2. When they get this big, normally they have 3 or sometimes 4. In this area, we have to have 3. Just north of here, 6 miles, it's 4 brow tines, which is quite a good-sized moose. I just guessing that this moose is about 4 to 5 years old. We got 421 pounds of pure meat, no bone, no nothing, just pure meat. And I'm just estimating he probably weighed around 14 to 1500 live weight in the woods. She shot it at 8 o'clock in the evening, 10 to 8. We had about 45 minutes of daylight left. I come down and got a trailer with a four-wheeler, went back up in the woods, and we were 4.5 hours dressing that and getting it loaded with a four-wheeler and packing them out. We got here about 20 minutes to 1 in the morning, so it's quite a job. And then she also shot a grizzly bear in the same location 2 years ago. Don't normally see them right down here at the house, but just up on top of the hill. There's bears. She shot a couple black bears before, and this is her first grizzly. Came through, just a young male, which you really don't want to encounter in the woods. They can be like a teenager. They kind of want to fight the young males. The bear did not see her and stopped, and she shot, and down it went, just with a 300 Savage. So she's a pretty brave little girl, to say the least. I would be hesitant to pull the trigger with my 300 Win Mag, and I carry a 44 on my side, and really don't want to be, I don't want to be hunting those grizzlies. They can be pretty brutal. So getting our wood, back to our wood, we bought our log dog trailer 2 years ago in northern New York. We knew a friend of mine that had it, parked up in a pole barn. I knew he was getting up in years, still active, but he didn't use the trailer, and he thought about it for a minute and said he would sell it. So I wasn't long getting a plane ticket and some money together and going and getting that, because we were looking for one of those trailers. They're pretty hard to find. So upon getting that and getting back, only reason why we wanted it is to get our own logs for we have a circle sawmill, just an old one. It needs a little work, just for a hobby, something to do. I'm retired. I like to just play around with them. I used to have one when I was on the East Coast, and love the sawmill. Like the sound of them, I guess. And just producing lumber out of logs. I see some of those logs cut up here on these YouTube channels. I just cringe. To my right here, we have some beech that we brought back from New York. We cut in my brother's woods to make benches. A bench up here, a nice high quality bench, is about $3,500 for our workshop. So we're going to try to make our own. And I see on Hard Working Man, it must have been about a year ago, he cut a big beech tree down and cut it up for firewood. I'm thinking, beautiful tree. But when I was logging back east, I'd done the same thing. There was so much wood, we just high graded our firewood. We didn't even bring out cherry, because cherry and soft maple, my dad was a wood snob, and I was kind of a wood snob. We brought out the hickory, hard maple, oaks. We didn't bring out soft maple or cherry. That was just a weed tree. We cut the cherry logs. They were big money, but we didn't bring out the firewood. And cherry does burn good. I love the cherry lumber. We brought some back with us when we came back last year. We actually bought a bunch of cherry logs off a veneer plant, very good price, and had a mill there, and brought the lumber back here for Jill to turn her bowls. And eventually, I'm not a woodworker, but in the wintertime, the long dark winters here, kind of like to take and stay busy. So of course, my reloading shop, I stay busy. Jill has her sewing room. In this garage, we have 2 separate rooms, the hook right on, so we can just walk right out in our sock feet from the house, right into our shops, and then we can come out of our shops right in here to the garage. So it's pretty nice. We have heated concrete floors here, heated with propane. We don't have natural gas here. So we have to use propane or fuel oil, and Jill was all set up with propane and selling propane at the cafe, so we opted to get the propane on-demand boiler hot water heater, and we have that for a backup for house if we leave. We heat with strictly wood in the house and just birch. So the other thing is too, I got a piece of, well, I might have taken it. No, I don't. I have it right here. So I had a piece of aspen, poplar, I guess that's what we always called it, and I weighed it and the date. And I cut this in June, the 23rd of June, and it weighed 7 pounds, 8 ounces. In 4 weeks, this was down to 6 pounds. It lost, I didn't put the moisture meter on it. I'm sure now being in the garage here, it's bone dry. We cut this in June, so it's probably down to 9% here in the heated garage. But that dried in about 5 weeks. It was down to 20%. And we just took it out for a test, cut it, split it, and we put it out here in the driveway right on the gravel. No pallet, no nothing. Just laid it right on the gravel. Let the rain, sun, whatever hit it, go. And in 5 weeks, it was pretty dry. So we're going to try to mix some of that or bundle it and try to sell it for our firewood bundles this year. The cottonwood that we have here is pretty much the same as cottonwood nationwide. It looks pretty much the same. We've got a bunch of that we have to take. This is smaller, 8, 10, 12-inch diameter logs. We have to clean those up. And normally there's only 1 or 2 in a pile, so we just kind of take them. And if they're big enough, I actually saw them, make lumber out of them if they're nice and straight and clean. But lately we've been getting a lot of cottonwood in the area we're in, so the contractor just gives us all of the wood. So what we do is we high grade out the firewood first, the best of the firewood to go through the processor and bring that home because people will take it. These are new roads off in the woods. People are desperate for wood, or they're selling wood and they just think it's free, so they just go help themselves. So we keep it cleaned up as soon as they call us. And we haven't had too much trouble this year with people taking the wood. Last year the snow was deep. They couldn't get off in the woods and people were taking the wood pretty quick, even cottonwood. So we get the wood home and the cottonwood is piling up. We've got quite a pile. We've probably got 15 or 18 full cord of cottonwood. I brought a load home today. And when Jill's gone here now this week, I'm going to actually process about 6 or 8 cord of that and get it stacked up, split, and just let it go in a big pile out in the gravel driveway in the yard and see how it does. Actually, the heat on that's not too bad. We have beetle kill spruce here, and a lot of people burn the beetle kill. It's dry, standing. I couldn't believe it when I got to Alaska. People were even burning spruce, but a lot of people burn it. Well, the cottonwood, everybody turns their nose up to the cottonwood, and they'll actually bring it here for free. People cut these trees down, they want to get rid of them. They actually haul them in for free sometimes, bring them to us. I read a lot of books, and in our logging books, the BTUs, a pound of wood is a pound of wood, no matter what you have. The cottonwood is about 2,240 pounds per ton, dry weight at 12%. Beetle kill spruce is just 10 pounds more. So it's almost the same amount of heat in a cord of wood, but you cannot give that cottonwood away. And burning the aspen in the fireplace, outside fireplace, it's got a nice sweet smell to the smoke. I kind of enjoy it. No sparks. Some people like the sparks to snap, crackle, and pop, but if I'm sitting by the fire, I don't want embers all over my lap, just my own personal preference. So we're going to try some of that this year too and see how that goes. And Jill's on her cruise, and as you can see in the videos, extremely hard-working girl. There's days I want to take it easy. We're both retired, and I just don't really want to go as hard as she does. She likes to be active. Well, if she's running the processor, it takes a lot of work to get it prepped up and warmed up in the wintertime, and snow sometimes shoveled off. Somebody's got to feed that. So she can do it. She can take the tractor, and she can go out. But to be productive with that machine, it takes 2 people. If 2 people are around that machine, it almost doubles the production. And what we did do this last load we brought in, if you've seen in our 2 videos ago, we had a semi-load brought in. It was smaller wood, but nice clean wood. We actually processed that with a tractor tree length. And you can't even, it's hard to explain how much more production you get. We've cut 16 and 20 foot. I could not believe the difference. I take the tractor, go up and put it on the deck, Joe pulls it in. I kind of hold it with the forks until it gets balanced about 25 feet. I can lever, go down and get another piece, bring it back. And we cut that load up in, that's getting ready and everything, about 6.5 hours, 10 cord. Pretty good, really. I thought it was. And we had a little bit left over, just small wood that you see her cut up with her little samurai buzzsaw. She did get most of that the other day while I was gone to get a load of wood, and she finished it up before she went on her cruise. And I think we have a clip of that. I'm not sure. So if we do, we'll show you what that looks like. And that little samurai, we saw that on Hardworking Man's video. As soon as we saw it, Jill says, we need one of those because we have all this small wood tops that when we get done picking up our logs out of the pile, we have all these pieces and tops. The contractor, they just give them to us. So it's all nice birch. So we bring it home and we've been stockpiling it, and I don't really want to be bending over with a chainsaw anymore. I've done it for 45 years. I'm just kind of done with it, even though I still enjoy it. But you know, that limb wood, trying to cut it up with a saw, holding it with your foot, if you can make racks, there's all kinds of things, it's work. And that wood does not add up very fast. So the Samurai was a ticket. That thing is for that was $3,400. They've come up in price after COVID. We had to go pick it up. Fortunately, there was a gentleman down in Michigan coming back to Alaska that had an ad on Facebook looking for a load up. Well, you haven't got to look very hard if you're coming to Alaska, because his phone rang right off the wall. And he actually tucked this thing in side of the back of a side-by-side in the bed in a pallet. You can't even believe the stuff that people bring up here, because the shipping is so expensive. To get that Samurai up here was over $1,000 on a pallet, and it's too much. And then one company was actually $2,300 to ship up a 650-pound pallet. Yeah, it's a lot of money. So shipping up here is expensive. So when we go down, we bring back the lumber we want. Even our grease or oil is sometimes $10 a gallon for the Shell Rotella oil at Walmart in Minnesota. $10 cheaper than here, so we stop and get 20-gallon. You know what, I keep it up on the shelves, and it lasts about a year for the truck oil changes, so it saves, you know, $150 to save here and save there. And so that's a little bit about what we do here in Alaska. And I say there's a lot of myth about Alaska, you know, the land and the cities and what people do, and it's living remote and off-grid is pretty rare. There's people right around here that I would say are off-grid. They have no power, and they haul their water in, but they're right on the road system here. They drive to town. It's not like you're back in the boonies 200 miles and hiking in, and that's a little far few between. There is some, but not many. So with that being said, we'll let you go, and we'll be back here next week. Hopefully Jill will be back, and she can help me with this video. I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'll give you a close-up of this moose here. 59 inches. Now these bases here, I can't get my hand around them, so that gives you an idea how big they are. And these, when they were fresh off the animal, were about 85 pounds. So they've lightened up now. They seem quite a bit lighter. They've been inside since September in the sawmill, and they've dried out some. They lose a little bit of weight. But a beautiful set of antlers. If they were mine, it would have been a big old moose head mounted, but Jill says no dead animals in the house, and she won't pay for a mount. So I've got one white-tailed deer mounted, a nice one I got in New York, and that's in my gun shop, along with my silver fox that I had mounted, but nothing in the house. She's born and brought up around that her whole life, and she said she doesn't want it, and can't blame her. So if I get a nice moose, he'll be somewhere out here on the wall for sure. So thanks again for joining us, and from the Alaska Woodyard, goodbye everyone. We keep the sawdust flying, and sometimes the lead. There's a close-up of the moose. Just to give you an idea, these whitetail antlers are 15 inches.